What's going on, you guys? I'm John Turner. This is Woods to Table, and I hope you guys are having a safe and successful turkey season. We're back in a hosky right now with Cuttawisky Creek Outfitters. Do a little bit of bird hunting, and I'm excited. I've got Afton, I've got Ryan, I've got Sammy, I've got my dad with me, and we're gonna see if we can get Afton or Sammy on their first bird, get Ryan another one because he was able to bring one down on Youth Day in South Carolina, and we are pumped up. We're hearing birds fire off. We got here yesterday, we're hearing birds fire off all around us, and it sounds like it's just gonna be an amazing trip. Y'all stick with us. Generally with these types of hunts, we try to get the kids into an area where they're not gonna disturb the turkeys that we're gonna be hunting, but give them just enough shots so that they'll feel comfortable when they get in the field. Now Sammy wound up needing a couple shots before she felt comfortable with her new Youth Model 20 gauge. Now we didn't know it yet, but this would come back into play later on. And Dad? Well, he just likes to shoot stuff.
Rise and shine, campers. Come on, it's time to go. You're gonna be late. It's turkey day.
Morning one. Y'all ready? Provisions.
Cuttawisky has access to thousands of acres of private land loaded with eastern turkeys. I took Afton and Sam with me, sent Ryan with my dad, in the hopes that we'd get one of these two kids on a nice turkey to round out Youth Week in North Carolina. The farm we hunted for our first couple of sits overlooks 1,000 or more yards of open field, and man, did it look good. Once we're in the blind, we go through all the usual stuff, rehearsed every angle of approach and every scenario. Then the weather started to threaten, looked like it might storm.
And if we get a storm, and then the storm moves out of here, those turkeys are gonna be in this field, drying their wings and everything, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's gonna cool the spine down a good bit because it is hot today.
As the weather continued to change, we finally got a look at some turkeys entering the field. A group of hens came into our left.
About 4 turkeys that have just entered the field, the exact opposite side of the field from where we are. But I know that I'm sitting someplace that they like to travel and someplace that they like to feed, particularly in the evenings. So we're just gonna sit here, sit out. What else can I do? I'm in a blind. I'm gonna wait them out.
Those hens just took their time, walking around feeding, dusting, just having a good old time in that field. And I knew, eventually, one of them was going to have a tom in tow. And then, there he was.
Hold very still.
This tom was in perfect position, about 22 yards straight in front of the blind. What you can't see is another tom entering the field from the left, the tom we were aiming at. His pace quickens, he starts to get really nervous. But we lined Sam up anyway, had her take the shot.
Shoot again. Shoot again.
I can't.
Put it right on. Put it right on.
Shoot again. Shoot again.
Don't go low. Put it right on his head, baby.
You got it, babe. Shoot it.
Yep.
Stop. Ow.
Sam.
My arm hurts. Okay.
I told you that target practice from day one was going to come back into play. And as those toms hurried off, Sam finally told us that she had a big bruise on her arm from her practice shots the day before. She was a little bit gun shy.
It was either we're too far away or I terribly.
You didn't have terrible aim, baby. They're really hard birds to kill. I'm proud of you. You know what was the difference tonight and the reason we got to see those turkeys?
What?
A secret weapon. My short pants. Those turkeys were jealous of these legs and they wanted to come out there and strut.
It's like a hen.
We stuck this hunt out a little while longer. But those were the end of our opportunities for the day. And the weather continued to worsen.
Breaking it down before the storm.
Not my story. The storm is still 12 miles away. I'm counting.
Okay, time to go.
My iPad's had experience with water.
How was your hunt?
Still nervous.
Are you still nervous?
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that.
Buddy, believe me when I tell you, we were glad to be back. Nature put on a show that night. But that's when it's awesome to turn back into the lodge for a home-cooked meal and some time spent with family and friends.
This just smells delightful.
I'm officially gonna hold it.
The next morning, we changed things up a bit. I sent Sammy and Afton with my dad. They immediately had turkeys in the field. Ryan and I headed back over to a location that was close to where we'd hunted the previous night, but from a slightly different angle. You want to change things up a bit so the same turkeys aren't looking at the same spread every time. And it was obvious the rain did us some good.
See, after this rainstorm, there's these little slugs all over everything. And that's what these turkeys are walking along and grabbing up off the ground. They've been out here feeding this field just for about an hour and a half at this point, and it's just covered. The ground is just covered in these little slugs. There is plenty of food out here, so I have to think that as long as they stay out there and feed, at some point some of these toms are going to show up.
And they showed up in force. I mean, probably a dozen Toms and Jakes came in from our left and made a beeline towards those 4 hens that were feeding off to our right. They wanted the real thing. They wanted nothing to do with our spread, and they were at an angle I couldn't really call to them.
All right, we are going to call an audible here this afternoon. Not getting it done. There's turkeys all over this place, but not been able to bring one down yet. So I'm gonna abandon the blind this afternoon. Send the kids with Afton and my dad, and I'm gonna see what I can't do. I'm gonna find a pine tree, a grove of pine trees up here, and just tuck myself in. And I know this is where the turkeys come in and out of this field. They're gonna be in here at some point this evening. And I guarantee you, if I can sit here and sit still with the amount of bugs and crap that I have buzzing around me right now, I will smoke one tonight.
I didn't know how right I was. I hadn't been in my seat for 30 seconds, and 5 yards to my right, out of a huge thicket, 3 Toms stepped out, looked me in the eyes, and bolted. I just knew that was probably my missed opportunity for the hunt, but it didn't take long before things were looking up for Afton and Ryan.
We have not been in here for 2 minutes, and we've got 3 decent-sized birds working this ridge over here to our right. I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna go over to where Jonathan's hunting, or if they're gonna come over here to us. But I think they might come over here to us. Yeah. Woo!
Equally impressive to me about this sequence, Afton, a first-time turkey hunter who's never hunted by herself with Ryan, and Ryan, an 8-year-old cameraman. All right, man, I'm pumped up. Afton and Ryan were hunting separately. They rode back in a different truck. I heard a gunshot today. Afton got her first turkey, and I'm absolutely pumped. Some close calls, near misses for me, but I couldn't be happier for her. Afton.
I shot a turkey.
First ever.
Check
Are you
him out.
pumped?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I just can't believe that it actually happened.
Oh, you shot a double beard?
I did.
Nice job.
Smoked him.
Smoked him?
I smoked him.
How far was it?
30 yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
How many shots did it take?
1.
Nice job, Annie Oakley.
1. I shot a turkey.
As the sun sets on another trip to a hosky, I'm reminded of all the memories made while we were here. Whether a son helping his mom get her first turkey, or a young woman learning that when life disappoints you, or even when you're disappointed in yourself, mom and dad are still there for you. For these reasons and more, this is why we hunt, and this is why we can't wait to come back. That was an absolutely amazing trip, an amazing experience for Afton to bring down her first turkey. And I'm so excited to cook this up. Actually, it blows my mind to think that I've actually never smoked a turkey breast of my own at home. So we're gonna give that a try with Afton's turkey. Both the turkey breasts off that Jake, and I've heard differing things. Does the Jake taste the same? Is it more tender? I'm excited to find out. First thing that we're gonna do, it's getting late. Already eaten tonight, but we're getting ready to and looking forward to cooking tomorrow night. And sometimes your best dinners, they take some forethought. They're not quick. You gotta kind of plan these things out. So we're gonna go ahead and take these turkey breasts and throw them in a brine tonight, which is basically just a pot of salted water with a bunch of aromatics that are just gonna soak up the flavor and the juices into the turkey breast. And the reasons that you brine meat, or the reason that you brine meat, is because it does something to the proteins in the meat and it helps it absorb moisture so that during the process of cooking, and certainly by the time that it's done cooking, it's just gonna be a lot more juicy and a lot more flavorful. So what we're gonna do, I've already salted this pot of water. We're going to add some cut up yellow onion, 1 yellow onion. Oops. I've got sage, it's already been cut up, rosemary fresh out of the garden, a couple of cloves of garlic that we chopped up. And you want to cut these, you don't want to cut them finely, but you want to chop them enough that you've got enough sides exposed in that garlic that it's just going to release more and more flavor. And then add your turkey breast, make sure that that's covered up in there, and just let it sit. We're going to cover this, refrigerate it, and let it sit overnight. And then come tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to get that smoker fired up, and this thing is just going to be on point. All right, here we go. So, it's actually a couple meals later. Planning ahead for dinner tonight. So, turkey breasts have been brining for about 15 hours, something like that. And just soaking up all that moisture that they're really gonna need, because wild turkey, in particular, Jake, is really, really lean. So it's gonna need all this moisture in it for cooking, even when you're doing it low and slow in a smoker. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out of the brine, kind of pick off all the different, got some sage there, all the different aromatics and everything. And I'm just gonna dry these off so that our rub is gonna stick a little bit better. Everything off there. Okay. All right, homemade apple pie, cinnamon spice barbecue rub. All right, I'm just gonna put a generous amount of this stuff on there, and then we're gonna rub it in on both sides. It just, I mean, it smells like Christmas. All right, here we go. We've got the smoker going. We've got it on 200 degrees. These being Jake's and smaller turkey breasts anyway, I think I can probably get by with this. Otherwise, we would have gone, or you may want to go 225. You're looking for an internal temperature. We're gonna take this off the smoker at just less than 160 degrees. You're looking for about 165 by the time that it's done cooking in order to kill salmonella. So what we're gonna do is cook it up to about 158, 160. Take it off, wrap it in foil, and just let it rest inside the house for a minute before we slice it. And it's gonna give us that 165 that we're looking for. And this should not take, it shouldn't take too long. We're gonna put a temperature probe on here and just watch these things this afternoon. You'll enjoy our Sunday. So, just for a little bit of extra flavor, we're gonna take all these aromatics out of this brine and just reserve the water. And I'm gonna put this into that, into the I don't know, water pan, drip pan, whatever it is, inside the smoker. So instead of just having normal water in there, we've got this, it's got this extra flavor in it that the turkey has been sitting in all night long. And it's just gonna help add to the flavor as this thing cooks. Oh no! Don't tell Afton.
I'm right here.
Turkey's gonna be good. All right, so it's been about 2.5 hours, which against all odds, it's a lot faster than I was planning on. I thought it was gonna be 4 to 5 hours. So I don't know exactly what's going on here. I think that the turkey breasts are a little bit thin. Again, it's Jake. Ambient temperature, it's really hot outside today. I don't know if that's having an effect on the smoker. Holding the right temperature, but I know that these turkey breasts are ready. Temperature probe says that we're just at that 160 degree mark, so that's exactly where I want it to be. And I didn't bring my tongs. Hold on. It's like watching monkeys use tools for the first time. Let's get this turkey breast off. Now you notice his buddy is already out of here.
Oh, come on now.
You notice that his buddy is already out of here. One of these I think might have been slightly thinner than the other and got done a little bit quicker. So I went ahead and took it off just to make sure that there wasn't something going on with the temperature probe and to make sure that it was actually done like it said that it was. And it was delicious. It didn't last long. Come on. But I went ahead and left this one on there. It was taking a little bit longer to cook, which is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys exactly how we did this other one. We're just gonna grab a little bit of aluminum foil and wrap this guy up for not more than 10 or 15 more minutes because it's gonna continue to cook as it releases heat inside the foil. And I don't want it to overcook. That temperature is gonna come up another 3 or 4 degrees as it continues to sit. Foil is gonna help it hold in that heat and also hold in all that moisture. All right, so it's been, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and just unwrap this turkey. Now that the foil has kind of done its job and it's been resting in here a little bit. Look at that. Oh man, it's just juicy as it can be. Here we go. People creeping already. Because the first one was a big hit. Okay, let's try it out. Let me see. Go ahead and cut this in two.
Like a big brain.
Look at that.
Looks like a big brain.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So look, it is just, I mean, it's tender and juicy. If you mash on it with a knife, you can just see the juice start to seep out of it a little bit. Man, this turned out absolutely perfect. Ryan, you want to taste test this one? Did you like the other one? Here you go, buddy. I'm gonna try a slice too.
Okay.
Might even cut after one. Here you go. Here you go, buddy.
Oh, it's hot.
Oh, it's still hot, of course. You want some more? Yeah, I do too.
Can you taste that apple rub on it, right?
Let's go. I guarantee you, this is not gonna last long. Something about the skin on here. I've noticed that with a dry rub on the outside, doing it low and slow in the smoker with the skinless turkey, it's not gonna give you like that crispy kind of caramelized texture on the outside because there's nothing really sugary in here. If you want that, go with some kind of a sugary glaze, maybe honey or something like that, and it's just gonna caramelize on the outside and give you like a nice crispy texture. But this seasoning, this flavor is absolutely awesome. It all came together really well, perfectly tender, and I am pumped up about this. You guys absolutely have to try this. Thank you so much for being with us. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time, and God bless. Oh yeah.